Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. There was a time when Seiko was the king of value in watchmaking. Now that time might be over and today Bulova might be stepping into that role with watches like the Jet Star. The question is this the watch that proves it? I've been wearing this for over a year now and every time I look at it, I'm reminded why Bulova is such an interesting brand. They're not afraid to experiment with design, technology and their own heritage. This model is inspired by the original Jet Star from the 1970s, but inside it's powered by one of the most impressive quartz movements on the market today, Bulova's Precisionist Movement. This quartz movement gives a beautifully smooth sweep to the seconds hand, just as with the spring drive movements from Grand Seiko. And the similarities don't stop there, because when you look at the case, does this remind you of a certain Grand Seiko design? But despite the similarities, the design and technology are 100% Bulova. So this watch blends heritage, modern tech and serious style. And it does so at a price that might surprise you. Alright, let's take a closer look at what makes the Jet Star so interesting. On the wrist, the Jet Star measures 40 mm in diameter, with a 45 mm lug-to-lug and a thickness of just 11.5 mm. It weighs 95 grams, has a 20 mm lug width and offers 50 meters of water resistance with a 3-year warranty. Because of the quartz movement and the slim case design, the watch sits nicely on the wrist and feels light and comfortable throughout the day. You almost forget you're wearing it. One thing that really surprised me was how many compliments this watch gets. Most people assume it's far more expensive than it actually is, mainly because of the colors and the overall finishing. Do you feel a gold tone watch is a bit like cheating here? Let me know in the comments what you think. Cheating or not, it works just as well with casual outfits as it does with something a bit more formal, which makes it a very versatile piece. Now let's talk about the price. The Bulova Jet Star comes in just under 350 euros or dollars. And for what you're getting, that's a very strong value proposition. You've got Bulova's heritage, excellent dial, perfect case finishing and a highly accurate movement that's rated around 10 seconds accuracy per month. Very few watches offers that kind of performance at this price point. That said, not everything is perfect. The red seconds hand and the white date window are bold design choices, but I feel that this will not be for everyone's taste. But the butterscotch dial is without a doubt a real looker. This beautiful warm interplay of colors is just perfect here in combination with a gold toned case. It changes color depending on the light, mostly warm gold, other times almost caramel, which also darkens to that color near the edge of the dial. The applied and polished gold-toned hour markers adds to that rich and warm look, while the painted elements on the markers add depth and really elevate the overall dial further. At the edge of the dial we have a brown colored minute register ring with white lume plots for visibility in the dark. Also we see nicely designed gold colors hour and minute hands and a red seconds hand, which is a bit off here for me personally. Brown or even bright yellow to match the stitching on the strap would have been a better choice in my opinion. The date can be found on the 3 o'clock position and it's easy to read. But the white date wheel does stand out a little bit more on this dial than I'd prefer. But I can forgive this because it also matches with the white lume plots and the white text on the dial. Still, when that smooth seconds hand glides across the dial, it's genuinely hypnotic. And thanks to the domed sapphire crystal you get beautiful vintage style distortions. quite similar to acrylic, but without the scratches. The case design is another real highlight. It's inspired by Bulova's original 1970s Jet Star, with sharp angles and strong lines that reminded me a little of Grand Seiko's 44 GSK style. You get a nice mix of brushed and polished surfaces, and the case hugs the wrist beautifully, making it very comfortable to wear. The gold tone stainless steel looks great and the proportions feels just right for my wrist. The strap is comfortable, well made and nicely matched to the watch. The gold buckle with the Bulova logo is a small detail, but it really complements the look. Overall, the Jet Star feels solid, refined and well finished, especially for the price. Inside the Jet Star is Bulova's Precisionist Quartz Movement. It uses a high frequency crystal, which is why the second hand moves in such a smooth sweeping motion. Accuracy is excellent and Bulova claims around 10 seconds per month. But in my experience it performs even better, closer to just a few seconds a month. It actually reminds me of Grand Seiko's Spring Drive, not in terms of technology, but in how smooth and satisfying the motion looks. It's quartz, but it doesn't feel like it. The lume is decent, but nothing special. Bulova doesn't specify the lume material, which usually means it's not superluminova. It's visible in the dark, but it's not particularly bright and doesn't last all night. Definitely one area where the watch could be improved. So, is Bulova really the new Seiko, or is this just one great exception in the lineup? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on Bulova as a brand. What do you think about the direction they're taking with models like the Jet Star and, for example, the Devil Diver? And what would you like to see from them in the future? Bulova has a huge collection and not every model is a winner, but when they get it right, like they did with the Jet Star, you really see what the brand is capable of. At around $350, this watch offers strong heritage, impressive technology and a lot of personality. It's a compliment magnet, a great conversation starter and something a little different from the usual choices, which can be a lot of fun if you're into that, of course. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to like, subscribe and click on one of these great reviews if you want to see more videos. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.